Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, the Versace Stoner. And I would like to welcome everybody back for our second year of the VSW podcast. We had a great first year last year, I thought. We saw a lot of great things, a lot of great wrestling. We capped a lot of great shows and had a lot of fun. Also learned a thing or two. This year we are back better than ever. We're going to talk about Wrestival. We're going to talk about a bunch of things, but let's give our buddy a call right now. Just Saberwolf. Let's hear from him.
Deserve fear.
And there we go, folks. There's the Saberwolf back. Season 2 in full effect. Like I said, we had a very strong first year. Really ending that fourth quarter heavy, and we are back better than ever. And tonight we're going to talk a bunch of things, starting off with all of Wrestival, and we got a bunch of things coming up. A lot of new things, a lot of old things, a lot of fun things.
Absolutely, Versace. Well, unfortunately, due to some protocols, and I wasn't feeling 100%, and I was exposed to people, but I was negative. I was unable to attend Wrestival. But I did catch the Limitless show and bits and pieces of the other shows throughout the weekend.
Well, I had been watching them, and I caught most of the results, and we're going to go through them and let some of the people know it was a great thing that Drew Cordero did. Getting all these promotions together. It's a great idea. I'm all for it. All for collab shows. I hate when shows compete against each other. I think it tears the fans apart. It tears the wrestlers apart. But when they go together, it's just something about it. Great idea. For me, wrong time of year. Very hard time for me to get away from the family, go to wrestling, do things, and then plus with the COVID and everything going around, also very hard. I got caught up in some protocol issues, and I'm not gonna, risk anybody's health or my own for professional wrestling. It's just not worth it to me. I got sick last November. I know what it's like. It's no fun. I don't know. I'm hearing this is a less dangerous variant, less sick or more, whatever it is. Either any which way, I don't want to find out, and nor do I want anybody to have to find out due to me not following rules. But we never talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. What we are going to talk about is Arrestable. And, it was a bunch of promotions. Like I said, we had the Pizza Party Pro, H2O Wrestling, was going to
They
be
also
Blitzerate
Celtic
Pro, but they pulled out. And Beyond Wrestling, of
Action Wrestling,
course.
the Southeast promotion.
Who?
Um, there's a promotion called Action Wrestling they had right before being
I actually can't hear you. Can you get to a better area, Disabled? You are very, bad reception.
Hold on one second for a sec. Here,
Well,
much better, right?
what were you saying was the name of the promotion? I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Action Wrestling.
Oh, Action Wrestling. Yes.
And I like their poster. They promoted it because they have Kevin Koo, one half of Violence Forever. They made him like the poster child. They had the decoration like Kevin McAllister, Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone. They called their show Kevin.
Oh, yes. And that was it. That was the name of the event. It was Action um, Sup Kevin. And that took place on New Year's Eve. And what a show! What a show it was. You had a bunch of great matches, and you had a bunch of great victories. I mean, okay, you had the tag team match with Violence is Forever, Dominic Garini and Kevin Koo, like you were just saying, they actually defeated the Hot Wheels, which is Tracy Williams and Willie Yuta.
Ooh, yeah, that's a
Now,
big.
I'll be honest, did not get to actually catch this show personally. I was just happened to be doing stuff with my fiance and my son, but like I said, I do plan on trying to find all this on IWTV or however else I can find it. Um, Another great match was the no disqualification match. I actually did get to actually see highlights of this. And AC Mack defeated Slade.
Ooh, Slade is like an icon at that White Eagle building, a hardcore badass.
Now here's another interesting matchup. This is very interesting because he was advertised as like I think first time. I'm not even sure, but that's Anthony Henry, and he faces Masha Slamovich. Now, that's a great matchup. You know,
And
two
they,
very skilled competitors. It went to a no contest. But I thought Anthony Henry's big thing was that he was, the first time wrestling for Limitless there. Wasn't that the whole gag?
yeah, well, he Anthony Henry teams up with JD Drake whenever he is in Limitless at the Workhorseman. Recently main evented Limitless against losing MSP in a losing effort, but he's trying to get back singly in singles competition.
Oh yeah, 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 for sure. And we might see him in further Beyond shows. We got to see Alec Price in a great matchup against Adam Priest, and Price obviously taking home the victory. This kid is on fire right now. We had him on that podcast last year. I am hoping to get him again this year. I know he's very busy now. Now that he's holding gold, he holds the Limitless World Championship. He holds, much more prestige than he kind of did. Yes, he was on his way up when we got him, but he wasn't nearly where he is now.
He's also going to be main eventing Chaotic in our hometown in a few weeks.
That's gonna be another crazy thing, and that's what I'm saying. He's just broken out in so many places since we had him, since we did have him on our podcast. It seems so many. It seems years ago. It really wasn't though. It was months. But he is definitely somebody on our radar that we want back. Another singles matchup: Ashton Starr defeated Davey Ann.
Ooh, that was a that was a big matchup for Davy to improve her status outside of New England. Got a losing effort, but she looked really good in defeat, as I heard. And but he was too. But the people that she wrestles, the action wrestling, they're a southeast based promotion, Southern Underground Pro. So it's a different style than what Davy's used to up in the Northeast.
Oh, it is. It is. But, Davey has been around. I mean, she's worked many promotions. That's what I'm saying. She's a very seasoned pro in this industry. People need to realize that, yeah, she's a powerhouse, but we saw her wrestle a very technical match in Maine.
Becca and they both brought the best out of each other because they had to change their styles in order to handle one.
For
Like
sure.
last podcast, Davey had to put aside like the powerhouse move, and Becca had to pull aside the acrobatics and the high flying move because both those females know each other so well. It's like chemistry, you know.
It is. It is. And it's kind of crazy. We also had Austin Luke defeating Pete Youngblood.
Yeah, two guys I heard a lot about, but I'm dying to see more of them as the year goes on. Like
People to keep on our radar, definitely.
one of my New Year's resolutions is to not actually leave New England, maybe the summer to go to shows, but actually venture the IWTV and check out their other promotions.
Well, there is a lot on IWTV, and I was going to start to say maybe on a weekly basis, since we really can't. If things start to slow down and things start to get crazy again, at least we know we're safe. We start to come over again on the weekends. We start to watch a couple of these shows that we don't get to normally see and start to see some of these names that we just hear about. And, even if we don't recap it, talk about it, it'll be a good way to learn about it without having to go all the way to these venues in these kind of uncertain times, we'll call it.
I would
You
have
know.
to say things can be no restrictions in a few months, or things can be all the way dragged down. You don't know.
No, but at the end of the day, restriction or no restriction, I know the VSW will prevail. We are good. We're both vaxxed. We are safe. We can
And what?
still do what we have to do, even if we have to do it while through watching it on TV. I mean, unfortunately, I won't get all the cool clips that we do get, but we will give our recaps and previews of shows. So just like we did, and just like we started last year when we were recapping the road behind closed doors, reloaded. That's how we started it all, and we got into live shows when things came back, when Beyond came back. Was their first show actually to come back. Started live was the Beyond show, and then
Absolutely, it
all
was.
the other shows started to follow after. But back to this one. We're gonna
Yeah,
have one of your favorite wrestlers. He Rip Bison. He takes a big victory over Bobby Flacco.
yeah, in a 6 minute 39 second match, and it was a. And I'm surprised it was second match. If it were up in Maine, it'd be. They don't do intermissions at the White Eagle Versace, so of course he wasn't halfway in the card.
No, I know, I know.
Yes, we
But hold on
card
one second. I was just gonna say.
a very good professional wrestler, aka Avery Good, and unfortunately, he doesn't have a lot of matches left in him.
Oh no, he is gonna be retiring. He did give his um answer. He gave his notification about that. But it's kind of sad though because we saw him managing when we went to Jersey.
Yeah,
He
we did.
didn't. We I didn't get to see him wrestle at Wrestlers Lab that year. And we missed him at another show. I think he was at. And then now we missed him here. I'm hoping we can get to see one of his last shows before the before his retirement because he is a really good wrestler. He even made it to AEW Darker. Did he not?
Yeah, he did. He teamed up with someone we know very, very well, JT Dunn.
Exactly. So, but at the end of the day, he knows his limits. Like a lot of people don't. So you got to commend him on that. Um, but overall, this was a really great show. You had Dylan Hales and John Mosley on the commentary. You know, like I said, yeah, I believe you can find this on IWTV. Still should be, it's definitely up there. I think.
Absolutely,
And
they're all.
yeah, because
They
it
all.
was all on there live. So,
But
and that's
honestly, they opened it up with this promotion called Pizza Party.
they did, and that's what we're gonna talk about next. Pizza Party, Pro Wrestling,
Absolutely, they're
and it was
they're
Big Eyes, Bigger Dreams. You
well,
had Dan Scotty and Dylan Hales on the mic. Again, this was on right New Year's Eve. This kicked everything off. This kicked off kind of Wrestival.
day before New Year's Eve actually.
Oh yeah, yeah. This was right the day right before, so that would have been was
Season finale
this after or during the last uncharted territories?
it was before.
right
His
before the uncharted territory, and then they went into the uncharted territory. Like I said, it
brother,
was a very busy week for me last week, so I didn't get to see a lot of things live until later in the week.
yeah, I saw some matches of this pizza party, but we'll start off with the match on the match card, which kicks off again with Little Mean Caffeine facing Brother Greatness.
Oh yeah, little Mean Kathleen has been tearing it up all over New England and beyond wrestling, top rope wrestling, NCW wrestling, wherever she goes. Her and Ted Goods now, kind of a little pair, and they're just ripping things apart. Both Spike Dudley trained.
They're both
Her, you can really tell it. You can really see it if you watch. You can see the mannerisms. You can see everything about it down to a science. You know, and like I said, there's nothing that little me Kathleen is not going to be able to achieve.
absolutely, and she won the opening match to set the whole Wrestival straight, the first victory out of the whole Wrestival. So if that doesn't tell you about her progress, I don't know what will. Because she also made an appearance at the AEW we went to in a losing effort to an amazing wrestler, but very controversial right now, Ty Conti.
Yep, she did though. She did, and I mean, it wasn't one of her best performances by far, but I have to commend her for getting up on that grand stage and doing what she had to do. Regardless of the outcome. And I'm hoping to see her really get out there and be able to shine, really get out there and be MLK. And I heard some chants when she got called out there. There was some MLK chants. I think in time there'll be even more LMK chants.
Absolutely. Are you ready to move on to the next match?
Yeah,
You've got Pancakes versus King. You've got a 2-on-1 match between or a triple threat between Jaden Newman, Pancakes, and King Crab.
sounds like it's a Camp Leapfrog style match. Camp
Absolutely.
Rules maybe. I don't know much about Jaden Moomin, but I'm pretty familiar with Pancakes.
And
We saw him a little bit. Well, me and you saw him down at Abby Jane's birthday. We saw
uh,
King Crab as well, but I also saw him down at the Wrestlers Laboratory taping for season 2 of Alchemy last year.
mm,
And I have to say, Pancakes is quite over with the crowd.
absolutely, he's very over. King Crab is a little bit cocky, in my opinion.
He is. He is. Both of them, I think, didn't really. They both underestimated Jaden Newman in this match.
Absolutely, they did.
And that's what I think was their biggest mistake, given Jaden Newman, being the victor in this. And like I said, it was a 1-on-2 matchup, kind of something different, not something we see in a lot of wrestling shows at all.
Oh yeah,
You
very
know, and then after that, you had another women's matchup. You had Brooke Valentine and Karen Bam Bam going at it.
yeah.
These are
Her
two. These are another two new names to my kind of repertoire of wrestling. I'll have to take a look into. Um,
definitely for sure. As there's more females hopefully popping out all over the place because we know the pretty seasoned veteran females real low and the females that are doing amazing. It's very easy to lose track into these prospects when the females that are dominating beyond limitless and all over the country are doing so well.
well, I mean, I believe Karen Bam Bam's out from the New York area,
Yeah, Brooke Valentine's from Jersey, I believe.
and she's out of the Jersey area. So I mean, yeah, yeah, I see a lot of matches with Bam Bam out in the New York, St. James area, New Jersey, New Jersey, couple title changes, you know. So I mean, that's just like right probably outside of what we were covering, and that's why we're kind of like missing a few of these people. We saw some of Jersey last year as we jumped into Wrestler's Laboratory, VXS when they went over there, and we got into um, what was that other one? Let's talk about wrestling.
About wrestling.
Yeah, we got into that. You know, we got into some of that Jersey wrestling as well. So and plus, and then we got introduced with the kind of Chikara style on the Jersey side with the Camp Leapfrog and the H2O Center wrestling when we went out there for the IWTV. But we kind of just missed some of these other promotions of in our grasp, and maybe that's something we should strive for more this year. If not going to these shows, maybe at least learning more about them. And it was
I,
Karen Bam Bam though that did get the win over Brooke Valentine.
yes, absolutely. And the next match was one I made sure to tune in for. It was a fatal four-way tag match between so many of these names we are familiar with. One team I'm just getting to be familiar with. You got the main event, Midas Black, and ringleader Midas, and Jay Lyon facing Violence is Forever, Kevin Koo and Dominic Garani. Salt of the Earth. How can they have that name with no MJF? But I'll just
I don't
name it.
know.
The Golden Grappler, Travis Huckabee, and Matt Makowski.
Now this
You
is
got
kind of interesting team up. I just want to say Salt of the Earth because anywhere else I feel like Matt Makowski is this big baby face and Travis Huckabee is this big heel. And remember it was Travis Huckabee that broke the arm of Abs, taking him out of commission. And then over here you got him teaming up Salt of the Earth. I just kind of find it funny. But okay, keep going.
and they're facing Kings of the District, Jordan Blade and Neil O'Neill. You weren't there. You didn't make it to breaking point, but Becca and Jordan Blade, a top tier female in New York, they had a great match. She's a very technical MMA style wrestler.
Who?
Jordan Blade of Kings of the District.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Both really amazing tag teams. There are a lot of acrobatics with ringleader Midas and Jay Lion. They're always fun to watch, and Violence is Forever. Kevin Koo had some great technical skills, which was amazing. He can be anywhere you want. He can go up against the best powerhouses because his partner was injured most of the year, so he had to put aside the Violences Forever that you see on MLW when he had to stick up for himself in the singles industry.
Who? Kevin Koo?
Yeah,
Yeah, he did. And, we saw him a lot in Limitless. He had his ups and downs. I feel like he had more downs than ups, and it kind
but
of
him
put him in a place. I don't know if some people are just suited better for tag wrestling,
because I
but
think Koo's way better for tag wrestling.
he is. But he did put himself out there, and he got some great matches going last year.
Him and Mikowski probably have the greatest chemistry, not only in IWTV 100, but when we didn't make Rip Bison's new promotion, The Grind, they put on a 5-star match again, I heard.
So I mean, you got to look at these, and this is kind of the face of right now what technical wrestling is the Matt Mikulskis, the Travis Huckabees, the Wheeler Yutas, the Daniel Garcias. This is
Trisha
what
Dora.
exactly the Kevin Coos. These are the technical wrestlers and the strikers that we have today that can be compared to what we used to have in like the end of the Attitude Era of like Ken Shamrock and Dan the Beast Severn and those guys. And
They're
so
popping up more all over the place because some wrestlers are adopting an MMA style.
they are,
Training
and I feel like
regimen.
I feel like the strong style of wrestling, that hard hitting style, and kind of like what pro wrestling grind and Rip Bison is doing, kind of style wrestling
Because
is
you don't
picking up
see a
steam.
lot of that in New England.
You don't, but it's picking up steam, and it will be. And as New Japan America kind of takes in, yeah, I think you're gonna see even more of that, and more wrestlers training that way. and going out of the acrobatic style of wrestling and more into the hard grappling, hard hitting style of strong style of wrestling.
But it was the main event getting the big victory to set the momentum for
You know
the whole rest of the
they're an
weekend.
unbelievable team, and you're gonna see even more. I predict you're gonna see even more gold on them this year.
At
And
some point, they're going to get signed to a mainstream deal, whether it's MLW Impact, but I definitely can see them in AEW or WWE.
no, definitely. I prefer to see them in AEW because I believe they're gonna stay
Absolutely.
as the main event. If they go to WWE, who knows what they'll be? You know, look what they did with the War Raiders. That's all I have to tell you. Right now, WWE is not the place to be. Um, you know, that's just my
If
opinion.
people
But
do get TV time, it's only the New Day and Usos for tag teams.
and if you want TV time, and for how long is it guaranteed? It's not guaranteed at all. People are getting still to let go. People are still getting fired. It doesn't help. You know, at least at AEW, people are given a chance. And there's other promotions. Even that, you don't have to just, you know, if AEW taught anybody anything, if the Young Bucks and all these people taught should have taught people have learned anything, is that you don't need to be in a major promotion to make it in professional wrestling. Yes, it's nice, it's security, but you don't have to make it. Remember, Young Bucks started as the number one independent wrestling tag team. That, you know, they self funded all in
Kenny Omega, that's
as an
what really started.
independent wrestler. Kenny Omega is an independent wrestler. He never worked for WWE, and there was no AEW. So you know he worked for New Japan and other promotions, yes, but not the big ones that you just mentioned. So you know you got to remember these people can all make it very big without ever getting signed anywhere. Just keep that in your head. But yes, main event is one of the best tag teams in the division right now. You know, I can't wait to see. It's gonna happen. I have a feeling we're gonna get a tag. I'm hoping we get a tag tournament in Limitless, and I hope we see main event. If not
What I
capture,
really
come
want,
close to capturing the gold.
know what I really would love to see, speaking of that, Randy, if you're hearing me, I'll book this in 2022. A TLC or a ladder match between main event, MSP, and Waves and Curls. That should
Oh,
main event the show if that happens.
oh, that would be high flying, super fly action. I
Yeah.
dig it. I dig it big time. Um, you know I'm a tag team guy. That I
Mhm.
love it. I love it. I love it. You know, and kudos to MSP for making it into PWI's top 50 tag teams. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. There's only 50 in there, and you got the likes of, you got to get through all those people you just said. Usos, New Day, they're all in there. You know, they're not too far behind a
Yeah.
great tag team, the Briscoes. They're, so, kudos again to MSP. They've really, picked it up in my opinion. You know, they stepped it up. You know, they were. I think in their minds, they needed a change. They needed to do something different. And again, it worked. You know, it didn't have to. It could have failed miserably, but it worked. You know, so they've had now two successful runs. You know, their first gimmick was that kind of grungy look, and now they were the MSP. They had the buoys, Alexander Lee, all that, and now you got the vibe, and they're a lot different. They're a lot more free floating, free spirited, but it's working again, and fans are coming to it. They're getting the respect they deserve once again. You know, it's great. It's great to see. I love it. You know, they've become one of my favorite tag teams on the industry and on the scene. So
So before we'll move on. We're going to talk about the next few matches before we talk about the main event, the Pizza Party, which was really the driving catalyst to get people to watch. You had Robbie Raddick defeat Big Game Leroy, someone we saw in We Are Wrestling, and you saw him in the Lab Alchemy too, correct?
yeah, I did. I love Big Game Leroy. This dude can
Oh, they
play. He
talk about
plays his
multi.
switch with the best of them. Wow, wrestling.
It's
Wow, wrestling.
amazing. He's got maybe he's raising Pokemon and jumping off the turnbuckles at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's insane. The things this kid can do. Big Game Leroy is, he's like I said, the king of multitasking. And Robbie Radicate, I don't know much about him. He was with Big Dust and Miles Millennium. He had his little posse there. I do know Big Dust.
You have Miles Millennium take a loss to who's becoming slowly a queen of hardcore, as she calls it, Kennedy Copeland.
You did. He did lose later in the next matchup, but it was Robbie Radicate defeating Big Game Leroy, and then Kennedy Copeland defeated Miles Millennium, who was with Big Dust and Robbie Radke. Kenny
Absolutely, and it was
Copeland
a
is
quick
tearing up
match.
the scene. She's one of the best females on the independent scene. I would love to see her, tear it up with someone like Ruby Riot or Chris Statlander. I think they would give a great matchup.
Yeah, it would be. I would also like to see her face someone like a JT Dunn and like the unit someday.
That could happen as well. Chaotic's listening. They might want to book it.
Mm.
Make it happen. Limitless, make it happen. Randy
Uh,
Garber Jr., make it happen. Do it. Do it. Do it.
we'll
Sign him
get to
up.
the main event, and this is a mask versus mask match. And whoever, if between the outfielders, Boomer Hatfield and Shay McCoy, facing a very good professional wrestler, Avery Good, and one of our favorites, Big Dan, baby, Dan Champion.
Oh yeah, two of the greats right here. Very good professional wrestling, Dan Champion. And this was a best 2 out of 3 falls tag match. Again, big tag fam. Outfielders, good tag team. You got Boomer Haddingfield, great lucha wrestler. Shane McCoy,
Huge baseball
she
fan,
can
and
kill it
Shay
out
McCoy's a huge
there.
hockey fan, so.
She can kill it out there. This is a great tag team. They've destroyed. I've seen them do wonders in Camp Leapfrog before they went out for the season.
And they were featured in the We Women's Revolution Beyond Wrestling promotion too,
Yep. And so
facing the district.
but come on, let's face it. You're facing Big Dan, and when Big Dan is there, you're facing the champion.
Especially when he thinks he's coming for a pizza party. He's really there just to chug a few beers
Of course he
after the
is. He's there to pick up wins and chug beers, and he had his friend, a very good professional
powerhouse.
wrestler there. Was at the White Eagle, so let's not shit each other. He might have not been on the mic, but Sidney Bacabella had to be in the building.
Absolutely, watching two of his favorite wrestlers. There was a picture after the match with them in the White Eagle ring, with Sidney Bella revealing his body.
Exactly, and probably Travis Huckabee. Remember, we saw them all wrestling down in Jersey at Abby Jane's
And
21st.
people looked at us like we had 10 eyes rooting for them.
Oh, we went all the way down. We sponsored. Not only did we sponsored the match, we went all the way down there for him. I was the only one wearing his shirt. Actually, no, maybe there was another kid, the kid Jordan from Beyond Wrestling. He was wearing Sydney's shirt as well. So me and him were representing Sydney Bacabella,
Mhm.
and it was great because you didn't have a lot of people coming from Mass up there. You had us out there, and like I said, everybody else hated this guy. Commentary hated this guy. Nobody at camp liked Sydney Bacabella, but us, and we did. That was one of the better trips of 2021. And you know what? They didn't win then, but Dan Champion and a very good professional wrestler sure won this time, defeating the
And
outfielders
Boomer
Boomer Haddingfield
Hatfield
and Shane McCoy.
revealed to unmask himself, and I'll have to say, he looks really good without the mask.
Who, Boomer?
Yeah,
Is there pictures anywhere?
yeah, there is all over Twitter, and he's
I'll have.
renaming himself
Is it on
too. But
his or?
it's all over the place in Wrestleville when he had to unmask. So they might be getting a gimmick change in the future, the outfielders.
Oh, but I mean, yeah, because I mean, once a lucha loses his mask, I mean, they really can't go back. You really can't.
It's very true.
Oh, I see. He's actually changed his gimmick over already. I think
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you.
Hatfield. He's now Weber Hatfield, the ground out grappler, formerly known Boomer. One half of the outfielders with Shane McAvoy. Him, he booking DM or email. Um, yeah, I mean, not kind of what I expected Boomer to look like.
Oh, I know it. Neither did we.
Wonder if he was the original Boomer, if there's been different Boomers all along. Never know. There'll always be conspiracies like the two uh, Ultimate Warriors. One died and then there was another. But, what a great time at Pizza Party. It was a great event. It looked like a lot of fun. Like I said, these protocols really have kind of dampened our whole Wrestival weekend there. And, it was kind of just, uh, you know, we just didn't have it. Um, I'm going to be right back. Why don't you recap a little bit about what we talked about on our last Wolfcast? Because it was pretty successful, I think. It got a lot of views, my friend.
I was amazed with how well it did.
It did great. Why don't you tell them all about it? I will be right back.
Okay, folks. So the wolf is here. And this past Sunday, I don't know if you caught it or not, or if you're watching. I know some of you are sports fans, some of you aren't, but we're a New England based company, so we decided to launch not only a Wolfcast covering the Patriots result over the Jacksonville Jaguars, who isn't all elite. You'll get this one, wrestling fans. Get my joke there, since Tony Khan's the owner of this terrible football team that the Patriots put up 50 points against. Not only did we cover the Patriots, we did a little tribute to John Madden, what he meant to us, because I didn't grow up when he was a head coach of the Raiders, but I did grow up when he invented sports video games with the Madden franchise, with the X's and O's designing. That was an invention that affected television to this day. An age with the X's and O's and drawing playbooks that only coaches would have that information too. But Madden made you learn the formations. He made you learn the coaches. He stayed the obvious. He was a funny bastard. Talked about the time when how he broadcast games, whether it was the number one crew of Pat Somerville and CBS in the 80s covering the NFC, or covering when they moved to Fox. And then when Gillette Stadium was born, this first, when I watched the Monday night game between the farewell of Ben Roethlisberger leaving retiring from Pittsburgh after this year, destroying the Cleveland Browns. His first ever Monday night game John Madden called was when Gillette was raising the banner for the Patriots for a Super Bowl, in which he called with Pat Somerville. Like if you heard me in the last podcast, John Madden wanted Brady to take a knee and go for overtime. That's the only time I would ever take against Madden's advice that went successful and it benefit the Patriots. And Adam Vinatieri kicked it through the uprights against the greatest show on turf. And the rest is history, folks. As you know, his first ever game was Patriots defending it against the Steelers, who they played in the AFC title game that year. Cordell Stewart as their right before they drafted Ben Roethlisberger a year or two later. So you have that. I saw it last night. Some highlights. We talked about Madden carving turkeys, what he was known for. And he did a lot of great things in the community. He always was willing to learn. He always got to know the players. And he will be very missed in the sports community. We also talk a little about the COVID situations that are affecting the Bruins and Celtics. As of now, the Bruins are going to be winning three in a row as they got back on track with overtime victory against the Buffalo Sabres. They had a blowout Sunday during the Patriots game against the Detroit Red Wings 5-1. And right before I started podcast with Versace. David Pasternak scored the go-ahead goal for the Bruins to put them up 4-3 with a sniper against the New Jersey Devils. Because I know a lot of you guys are from Jersey, so I don't know if you're Devils fans or not. There's no Martin Brodeur, that's for damn sure. And net, so it's easy for the Bruins to score. But you had this COVID protocols affecting the Bruins and the NHL had to shut down. We talked about that. We talked about the Celtics hopefully getting a upstart with an easy schedule coming in January when they only play one team above 500. But COVID's been affecting them with. If Tatum's not out due to COVID issues, you got Jalen Brown picking up 50 points the other night against the Orlando Magic. As I'm very excited to see what 2022 has for shorts, and and we also talked about how the Patriots will most likely be playing in Wild Card Weekend. Hopefully, they could make a run. The Pats can either lose in the first round or they could go all the way to the Super Bowl. You never know with this team. You never know with the NFL. It's the first time in like 20 years that the home number one seed has at least 5 losses, and that is the Tennessee Titans right now, and they're going to get Derrick Henry back. They hold on to that bye. You got the defending AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs too with 5 losses. So anything can happen, folks. As I'm excited to see what it brings for not only the wrestling world, but the sports world included. You can catch a Wolfcast every Sunday or Monday. At least one Wolfcast a week coming in 2022. Thank you all for making it the highest live streamed VSW podcast episode ever. Almost 300 views. Thank you so much. And Versace, are you back? As Russellville was a success this weekend, folks, some people say it was overshadowed by GCW doing events in Atlantic City. You also had Wrestleville competing with the NHL Winter Classic, but don't forget the mother of all New Year's, all the college football semifinal championship games, and the BCS bowl games such as the Rose Sugar and all those other games. It is very tough for Wrestleville to gain a ground and get this iconic tradition going when you have all these things. And like Versace, you talked about family issues or family gatherings or obligations. It's just Russellville is going up against so many different things for the first time ever event.
Not to mention, sorry, I'm back. I didn't mean to stall you here. Not to mention that, we got lucky, but we could have had another weather incident. Had we had snow, had we had a blizzard, it is the winter. But let's move on to another promotion that came in, and that
What
is H2O.
they were actually the middle on the New Year's Day promotion right after this new promotion Wrestle Open. We'll talk about it. Originally, one of the main events was supposed to be IWTV champion Alex Shelley defending his title, I believe, against H2O briefcase holder, similar to Money Bank Marcus Mathers. But his main event was him. AG took his place, seeing him face AG. That was a great match, but we can talk about the whole card first if you
Oh
want,
yeah, I
Versailles.
mean it started things off. You had a great tag match, Frankie Picard and Ryan Redfield They faced Frank Benetti and Adonis Valerio. Remember, we went down here to the H2O Center. Um,
What a sauna. Are you
it
sure it
was a
should be
sauna.
called H2O?
We went
Because it
down there in the summer for the IWTV 100. It was a double showing event. You had Camp Leapfrog in the afternoon, and then you had the IWTV 100 after. It was hot. There was a lot of great wrestling. It was fun. Again, it was hot.
boy, was it hot.
But it's great to see these guys coming down here. Because Massachusetts people don't know them. They don't know them. They don't travel to see them. Unless you travel to see, these wrestlers, or you watch a lot of IWTV, you're not gonna know them. And honestly, H2O Center for me is a great wrestling promotion. It's almost like a junior GCW in a way, but I think it's its own thing. It's its own entity. They have great hardcore. They have great wrestling. They have great everything.
It's NXT hardcore.
It's the whole thing. It's a great package. This massacre in Massachusetts they put on. That's the name of their show. It was great. And you did have Adonis Valerio and Frank Benetti taking the victory. To kick it off against Frankie Picard and Ryan Redfield. But you know, great tag match. And like I said, it's a training facility too. There's a lot of students out of there. You want to learn to wrestle and you're in that area, you can join the H2O training facility.
It's in Williamstown. It's right near Philadelphia.
Yep, it's right over there. you know, and it's a great place, okay? I mean, I honestly am a big fan of it.
Me too. It's a very unique setting, but it's not a place for like IWTV 100 in my opinion, but it is a great place to watch like a showcase or a hardcore like basement brawl type area that's perfect. But it's just very hot in the summertime.
Oh, it is. It is very hot in the summertime. It was very hot.
You also have Austin Luke defeating Reed Walker in the second match of the night.
That was another great matchup if you don't know these wrestlers.
I honestly didn't really get to see much of I saw some highlights of the H2O. I wish I got to watch it. You also had a Cheers and Shane's match for Sachi.
Oh, I love Chairs and Chains. It was a five-way Chairs and Chains. You had Mitch Vallon, Gregory Iron, Drew Blood, Dale Patricks, and Bobby Beverly. That's crazy Chairs and Chains. I'm just telling you, it's just nuts. Um, this is the kind of stuff that H2O, this is the kind of violence they bring. It was Bobby Beverly taking the win over these other guys, but like I said, this is the kind of matchups they bring.
So hardcore stuff. You have to be really seasoned to be able to do H2O matches, it sounds like, for Sachi.
Yeah, it's not your backyard mill wrestling. It's not the H2O Center is not the Gillette MMA facility where you can just kind of go and do whatever. It's a real place to learn, train, fight, wrestle, and in my opinion, become the next TV superstar. I really believe that they are building TV talent. That's just my opinion. I mean, you're gonna have to agree, but they're making things happen. While some of the other promotions, as we know and we talked about last year, kind of don't take everything so seriously.
Exactly.
The next match was a very serious match. You had Mickey Knuckles now. She's a legend in this game.
Against a
Taking on another legend, Masha
I
Slamovich.
card of the year, Master Slamovich.
This girl has destroyed. destroyed the industry. She's put on matches from here everywhere. She's been, all around the world wrestling. And then, she has some great matches. We went all the way to see her wrestle AG at
and
VXS.
amazing match.
She took home the victory. She's another one that's been on AEW. She's probably gonna get picked up real fast.
Just
She's
got signed.
NWA got her, I believe, too.
Yeah,
So I mean, and not to mention, she's just an amazingly nice person. And also, the key word to really getting Tony Spencer to lose focus in a wrestling match. Start a Masha Slamovich chant. You'll see him bow to his knees and just crumble.
absolutely. And like we talk about people not taking stuff seriously. Maybe if he paid less attention to her and John Cena and more on to try and get reach our good friend to be more than just sitcom. That's
Totally true. Totally, totally true. Excuse me. But it was Masha Slamovich taking the victory over Mickey Knuckles.
yeah, absolutely. And Mickey Knuckles is like a hardcore female Mick Foley kind of.
She is. You ever seen that incident that happened? It was like some Mickey Knuckles match, and some like guy shooted on her and hit her for real or whatever. And the promoter, everybody, they just beat this guy for real. They almost like killed the guy. It was kind of clear. It's like the if you watch the video, like the promoter's son was like spitting on the guy and hitting him with a bat, and like it was insane.
Very insane indeed.
And you know what's sad about this stuff?
What's that?
If this is the one I'm thinking of here, yeah, this is the one I think about, and this is why, like, I don't know,
I hear you on that.
but it's just this was the deal with the guy that they beat. It's not really funny. It was funny when the way that it was told in the story. But the true story is the dude Mike Levy she wrestled. He's an autistic indie wrestler with very little experience. And they threw him in the ring with this Mickey Knuckles in the semifinals, and through the match apparently stiffed her. And
It's trying to do
and
for us, sneaking out, making stuff come out of some their pocket too.
no, but you know what I'm saying. So like, and so
Yeah,
like everybody just treated this dude like shit, beat him up for real, and like, you know what I'm saying. Like they whooped his ass.
oh, I know it.
But what I'm saying is like, you know what I'm saying. It'd be like them throwing you in the ring with like Masha Slamovich, not telling you how to wrestle, just you facing, and then you do something wrong, get your ass beaten. Not even just by her, but the fans and the audience and the promoter and the promoter's kid. Like a promoter's kid comes out and hits the dude. It's kind of disgusting if you think about it in a way. I mean,
Really,
I laughed about it a little bit because, like I said, the video that I first saw that showed it, they showed it in a very a funny way because it was like the worst of wrestling or something. And you know how I always find that kind of funny, the worst of wrestling, because people think it's this glamorous, glorious sport. It really isn't. It has this dark, dark history of just shittiness, utter shittiness.
but
It still exists today. I mean, we love it, and a lot of it is cleaned up, and a lot of it is great, and a lot of the promotions are a much better spot than they were, and some of them, never even went south. But there is a lot of darkness in the industry. We know that. But the
absolutely.
next match was a tag team match up again. You had Anthrax and Gigi Everson taking the loss to Chris Bradley and Christian Ross.
That was their H2O tag team titles.
It was. Um, we didn't see that when we went to the IWTV. We didn't see that happen. We didn't see any match. I don't think we saw any title matches. I'm not sure if we did actually. I know we saw the briefcase match,
Yeah,
and
that's what.
that was kind of like their Money in the Bank. And if you won that, you got a shot at the title. And
Which
it was
team?
actually
Yeah,
Marcus Mathers who won the briefcase.
he was gonna face the IWTV champion in an title match, Alex Shelley, but he had to pull out from not only his match but his Uncharted Territory season finale, where he was supposed to defend the title against Mikowski.
Well, a lot of people, had a kind of shift and move in this whole wrestling due to different things, illnesses, injuries, COVIDs, all sorts of different things took place. And, unfortunately, that's the nature of this business. Luckily, nothing impacted anything too bad. Not like what happened in Americana with the kind of the false flag weather reports and talent pulling out and too much talent. This, was very manageable. I felt like everybody, every promotion, and every promoter did a great job replacing everyone very quickly and appropriately. Who they pulled and who they gave was a very good kind of replacement. This match, Marcus Mathers versus Anthony Green, was a great match. Might even say it was probably, in my opinion, maybe even the match of the night. Anthony Green, as you know, formerly known August Gray, NXT superstar, whatever you want to call him, for that retro. Now he's the alternative. He's very bright. He's the future of pro wrestling. But he's also a great veteran. He knows the business. He's been around. He's been to WWE and back, 205 Live. Like I said, they sent
He's
him
made a
back.
Dark Elevation and AW Dark, but on
He,
Dynamite too.
he's been on both. He's made it far. He's going to make it even further. He's a two-time Limitless World Champ, multiple champ across other promotions. He's wrestled everywhere in New England. There's probably not one promotion that he hasn't. And he's fighting the newest future of the promotion of the wrestling industry, and that's Marcus Mathis. This kid is amazing. In my opinion, I saw him wrestle. Like I said, H2O, so I saw him win that match. He's high flying. He can do the moves. He can wrestle. He's a great wrestler. He's great inside the ring, outside the ring. He's just an all-time great right now, and he's gonna make it somewhere as well. You're gonna see him probably on either well now WWE doesn't want indie superstars anymore, so let's just take them out of the equation, and you're probably going to see him on AEW sooner than later.
Or probably MLW and Impact at some point.
And some point those other two as well. I don't underestimate them. If Ring of Honor comes back too, who knows? But you're going to see him shine, and he shined. When he defeated Anthony Green. And that's a big W for him. It's a big W overall. Anthony Green is a world renowned wrestler. He's wrestled everywhere. Forget he went to like Germany too before the pandemic. He wrestled out there. He's wrestled, like I said, for 205. He's been to AEW. He's WW. I'm saying he's been, like I said, every indie promotion I can name and think of. This kid's wrestled for. Now he's in Florida. He's wrestling down there too. He's winning belts down in Florida. I've seen him doing he was doing seminars out in like kind of the Midwest area. I mean, he's all over the place. So, this is a big, huge win for Marcus Mathis, and he should be proud of it, really.
You really looked up to AG, and AG basically came to put over people this weekend, I feel like.
Probably. I mean, that's what he does in a way. He knows he's top dog, and he goes out and puts on a good match. And like I said, I think this might have been the match of the night, in my opinion. You also had the H2O Danny Havoc Hardcore title four-way match. You had Chuck Payne, Devin Moore, Lucky 13, and Declan Grant.
Wow, a hardcore championship named after someone that is the opposite of that name we know. Brr, 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 brr.
It is not the one that we know.
Or
No,
aren't
it
or
is
no
not.
one's ready for.
No, this one is somebody great. A legend in the ring, Danny Havoc, and unfortunately he died way too young on May 31st, 2020. And if when you went on the H2O Center, if you saw they had a big
I
memorial
saw
for him.
banners.
Uh, it's very sad thing. He was big into CZW. He was big all over the place, and like I said, just way too young, way too young. 34 years old, just way too young. And but he is a legend, and they did name the belt after him.
That's a
They
very
did
nice tribute.
and they did name the belt after him, and he does. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. It's almost similar to like kind of like the Mae Young trophy of WWE and other major accolade belts or titles.
And something that's finally coming soon, which I'm excited for, is the Owen Hart Cup.
We'll see that as well. Um, I don't know how I feel about all that. I don't know. All of a sudden now, think it's okay to use his name for wrestling. For many years, a gap of years, we couldn't even speak his name. And now all of a sudden, because what? Dark Side of the Ring came out, some people got famous, some merch was sold, and some money was made. What now? Now figures are being made. We might see titles. Like I said, I'm not sure how I feel about it all. I don't see how the change of heart happened and why, but I'm not here to really talk about that again either. But this was a great match, and it was a great for the title. Lucky 13, who was the champion, defeated everybody else: Chuck Payne, Declan Grant, and Devin Moore. And that brought us to the main event of the evening, which was a barbed wire death match with H2O owner Matt Tremont and Kennedy Copeland. Another great matchup between two veterans and barbed wire death match at that.
Wow, that sounds really amazing. I heard all about Matt Tremont on the impact he has on H2O. He wrestles pretty frequently in GCW too, right?
CZW everywhere. Um, you know, he was I said CZW. He was also he wrestled a lot for his own H2O and GCW. So yeah, he's out there. He was born in Atlantic City. He's only 32 years old, young um and you know grabbed the world by his balls, put on a great show at the White Eagle. Kudos to that. He didn't pick up the win though against Kennedy Copeland. That he didn't do. But like I said, kudos to a great show. um, I did see some of the matches. I have to go back and watch more. Like I said, it's just been a hard thing to even be able to do. I'm having major problems with my IWTV and my Fire Stick.
You know what I noticed, Versace? I have two TVs at my house, right? The non 4K Fire Stick doesn't work live for IWTV in my room, but in my living room, the 4K, it works. You can watch live. I was able to watch Limitless the other night on it.
See, I think I have to upgrade. Mine's not even like working. It keeps freezing. It keeps saying I'm not connected to the internet. I have to, I think, get the 4K. I have 4K TVs. I actually just bought Ghostbusters today in 4K.
That was one
Great
of my
movie.
Versace was not going back and looking at all these other promotions besides Beyond and Limitless on IWTV is because you can't really watch live on my bedroom because it just fades to black. But I just discovered if I go upstairs in my 4K, I can watch it easily.
No, and I mean they have a great repertoire, but like I said, I can't even watch older shows. I'm not even able to get onto the keeps messing around, so I have to either watch it on my phone or my laptop. As you know, right now, I don't have a phone, so it's just the laptop. And if I'm doing other stuff, I can't watch any wrestling on IWTV if it happens. But hopefully I can get a new Fire Stick going for this year, the 4K version. I'm sure because it's everything. I don't have cable, so everything is streamed. So you might as well. I mean, my TVs are smart TVs, so I mean either that or they gotta make it as a Samsung device. So I can just like download. Like I can download Fight on my TV and watch all my GCW events. So maybe they should make IWTV even more available, so I don't even need a Fire Stick. That would be the best bet. But till then, um, let's talk now, I guess, about the Beyond events. We'll cover the last Uncharted territory, the Beyond WWR Heavy Lies the Crown, and their Wrestling Open Soft Open.
They had a lot of big events. That Wrestle Open was originally supposed to be the debut episode this Thursday, but they moved it. They're still gonna have Wrestle Open this Thursday,
You
but
know,
they moved.
they will, and I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be kind of like something. Sounds like fun to me. You're gonna have a lot of these kind of student wrestlers or people that are new to Beyond being able to perform at the White Eagle and wrestle there in front of the live crowd of Beyond. It's just not considered a Beyond show. It's a new kind of promotion, kind of like an underbelly. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna quickly go through though the Uncharted Territories last show there, and that was with Davian defeating David Cole, and a no DQ match. Teddy Goods defeated Richard Holiday. Becca with her boy Alec Price beat Kennedy Copeland. Discovery Gauntlet Tag Team, The Miracle Generation, Dustin Walker and Kylan King beat Above the Rest, Gabriel Sky and Tristan Thigh. Matt Makowski beat Jordan Blade. The main event, Jay Lyons and Midas Black beat the Brick City Boys, Jay Cruz and Victor Chase. And Little Mean Kathleen with Teddy Goods to beat Cam Zagami. I guess Club Cam failed. And Ryan Gallione defeated VSK. You should go back and people and watch all of season 3 of Uncharted Territory there. You can
Yeah,
check it all out on IWTV. They had a really good season, I believe.
that's what I believe too. Versace. They had a really good season. They didn't have the star power like they did in the past, but it's definitely he made the best of what he had, and he made some new main event stars such
Well,
as
you got to remember,
Price.
remember when we were at BC
Please come
Dub,
back.
and when we were at BC Dub, and he talked about doing Uncharted Territory 3. Right at that point, he probably could have grabbed everybody just the same. The star power you talking about the Orange Cassidy and then Chris Stats and some of the other people. And he did get some of those people. He did get some, the Meat Man, but not as much as he did in the other season, but he did get them. And other guys, but as you know, the pandemic took a toll and people moved on and some people moved up, some people got taken, people got expensive, people got busy. But he definitely made the best of every situation possible and really shined in this with putting on another fresh season of uncharted territory.
I
You
got to
know,
watch some episodes this year. Unfortunately, it's very hard for the Wolf when I work. I basically work on Thursdays, and with traffic, it's just very hard to get out to the White Eagle in Worcester.
yeah, Thursday is very hard too with me and my son and having to just get him to his mom's and so forth, so on. It's very hard. It was a lot easier in the earlier months, but we'll see what happens, what we can do with wrestling
Because
opens and
unfortunately,
so
the only
forth.
way we can get there is taking the Mass Pike, you know?
Well, yeah, unless we do back roads. We'll figure something out. We'll get back up to the White Eagle. I won't stress about that. And, like I said, who knows? They'll probably do more uncharted territories. I did also see they're going back to feet. So, that should be another good show. And Biff Busick will be back there.
And Matt Cardona.
So, I mean, you have some more star power there that, you're talking about. So, that should be good. But they had their show, Heavy Lies the Crown, and that
This
was
is an annual New Year's Eve thing, Versace.
it is, and this time it was also part of Wrestival though.
And I've watched some of it. That the main event at midnight where fans bring the weapons between Masha Slamovich and Kimberly is one of my favorite matches of the weekend.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, this was just a great, like I said, overall kind of event, and you had 44-0 Bobby Beverly and Gregory Iron and Ricky Shane Page up against Club
They've
Cam
been,
with Aaron Rourke, Bobby Orlando, and Bryce Donovan. So like it's
Bobby
kind of
Orlando
different now. If
showed
you
up for a
remember,
Wrestival. I
well, it's
guess
kind of
Bobby
funny.
Jr.
Club
was able to
Cam.
have children.
Well, the thing is, Club Cam didn't. Cam Zangami wasn't even there, and Bobby Orlando and Bryce Donovan aren't really kind of like when we first were kind of watching it. They were kind of with
Max Caster.
Max Caster exactly with the Shook Crew. Now they're still part of the Shook Crew, but they're kind of now with Aaron Rourke, who in other promotions is part of Art. And these
Hmm.
guys have kind of geared up with the Club Cam. Now they didn't take the victory, but I'm big fans of these guys, the Shook Crew, Bobby Orlando and Bryce Donovan.
They're very talented in the ring. They got chemistry with each other. Bryce Donovan's like this laid back, whatever dude, and you got Bobby Orlando who's obnoxious and fantasize about a stuffed toy goat. You know, it's hilarious. They always get
Oh,
the
it
fan
is.
dance whether they love him or hate him.
It's true. It's true. And unfortunately, Bobby Jr.'s been suffered an injury.
But he was able to have kids with Bobby Jr. Juniors.
So that is always good too. That is always good too.
Hmm. Yeah, so you have them losing Ricky Shane Page, Bobby Beverly, and Gregory Iron
Yep.
to kick off the New Year's Eve festivities.
Yep. Then you also had Eel O'Neill beating Vincent Nothing.
Yeah, this
Which
was
was
a match that was a kind of a quick match, but it was a good regular singles match, I feel like. But this next match was really good too. Between one of the people that we haven't seen in a while, the Wild Child, Jody Threat, the Canadian, against Maxie Impaler, who's got this like Abaddon type vibe.
oh yeah, and that was a great matchup between these two. Jody Threat is a really good wrestler. We haven't seen her a bit since what Limitless,
Yeah.
since we've been out there. But she put on a great match. She was great this whole weekend. I feel all through Wrestival, and she is a superstar. Another one that's going to be on TV very soon.
Hmm.
And she is just killing it. And she put on a great fight against Max the Impaler, but I don't think it was enough. It just wasn't enough. Max is a savage.
Absolutely, Versace Max is really good. Wrestled in the last feed event they've had, which is pretty dominant. If you, in my opinion, it's not surprised Jody Threat had a lot of on a losing streak to end the year. So it is not that surprising. But are you ready to talk about the next match?
I am, and it's another one of your tag teams that we're becoming more and more familiar with. Violence
Violence
is
is
forever.
Forever.
Dominic Garini and Kevin Koo.
Against the Miracle Generation of Dustin Waller and Kyle and King.
I'll tell you honestly, I've never seen them wrestle before, but I was excited to see it. Like I said, I'm excited to always see new tags. I mean, I'm excited to see always new wrestlers, but tag team wrestling, something specific, about it. Just big fan of it. It was a much bigger deal back in the day. Those world titles meant something a lot more than they mean now. They weren't on pre-shows. They were actually part of the main event. One of the big matches of the night was always the tag team title match in WWE. Now, you could give a shit less. People could care less. You're lucky it even makes it, like I said, onto the show. But, like I said, when I was growing up, didn't used to be like that. And, this was a new team I saw, the Miracle Generation. I was pretty impressed, I have to say. Somebody hoping to see more of.
Absolutely, that for sure.
But it was Violence is Forever taking that victory.
Oh, I know it. It was a very, very
And I have to say, like I said, Kevin Koo is much more dominant in his tag team setting.
absolutely, and they put on a really, really good match.
They did. They really did. They put on a great match. And like I said, I was really happy, with this whole show. And just all the match. I think everybody, honestly, even through the pandemic and everything, really gave it their all for this last, big hoorah wrestling for the year Wrestival. And
Yeah, but I forgot to mention that before this match, we should have talked about that. Post match, one of the familiar New England icons, former Ring of Honor legend Brian Malonis, came in and attacked Max the Impaler.
what?
Yeah,
Wait, on what show?
heavy lies the crown.
Wait, who did he attack?
Max the Impaler, because they
Really?
started it at Ring of Honor's last pay per view.
Oh, kind of like a grudge. I got you.
Yeah, so maybe we'll see more of him. The last time anyone seen him was Chaotic when
We
he
saw him in
lost to Ricky
chaotic.
Smokes.
We saw him in chaotic. We heard about his little speech, how what he said about his body, and I feel for that. I can understand that. Um, the pandemic hasn't been easy on anybody. But he's a man's man to admit what he said. And well, I'm surprised he showed up at Beyond. That's interesting.
So our next match is two people we're becoming very, very familiar with. Is Slade versus JD Drake.
Great matchup. Great matchup. And seeing Slade more in Maine, I'm wondering if we're gonna see more of these two battle. But yeah, and JD Drake loves seeing him. As a tag, loves seeing him singly. He gave two, in my opinion, 5-star matches against Daniel Garcia.
Well, I
Okay,
know two of them. One in the tapings, and one during one of the
during the
vacation land.
live shows when they had Blackwood on removed from the ring,
That
JD
was one of
Drake
the best matches of the year.
was.
But I'll tell you, not really. This match, he did a really great job. This match, using the moonsault to put away a hardcore maniac like Slade
Did
for
he
the
land?
victory.
Did he
But
land the? Did he land the moonsault?
yeah, he actually did.
See, that would be something that would get us a couple of million views. Should have
Oh,
been
I
there.
know it. Are
Well,
people
I
commenting?
damn the COVID because we would have been there. We would have been there every day, every event, all the shows. It was a shame, but protocols are protocols. Like I said, we do safety first here at VSW. We're not going to endanger people's lives, and we're not those kind of assholes. Um,
That's the
but
real
yeah,
reason why I didn't go because I wasn't sick. I just felt real tired from working the front lines a lot. But at the same time, I got exposed so many different times, I decided not to go.
yeah, I got exposed a few times myself. I tested negative, but um, like I said, with the child in daycare and other family members testing positive, and then people I know, and then friends, and then
I
it's
hate
just
to say it, if this was just heavy lines of crowd or was just limitless, I would have sucked it up and gone
oh, if it
because
was
I
just
wouldn't
one
have
show,
expected people.
yeah, but with the whole night and a bunch of people and keep coming back and forth, it was a lot. I get it. Like I said, I understand it. And sometimes you're gonna make these tough calls.
Especially, it's not like back then where you didn't get exposed so easily because of the restrictions, you know?
Yeah, right now, I mean, we've been in kind of a weird position where restrictions are there, they're not there. Some towns were doing mask mandates, some towns were doing no mandates, some shows were doing no mandates, some shows do them. It's kind of a hard thing to follow when you don't know what to follow.
Exactly.
But you know, maybe they'll have some newer guidelines, and but it's like I said again, Drew did a great job putting all that aside, getting this show off the ground. And like I said, JD Drake took the win over Slade. The next match was kind of a weird ending. It was by a referee's decision, and that was with Trisha Dora taking the loss to Megan Bain.
This was a match that was supposed to happen like three different times this year. Once in the original, not Americana, but the women's pay per view. Megan
WWR, yep.
has become, I'm really enjoying her in ring work. I know our friend Liv Doug is really enjoying it too, Versace.
Oh, I'm sure. Um,
Richard
me,
Dore, we
me, me and Love Doug aren't on talking terms anymore, my friend.
and I hate to say it, this guy's getting me into trouble too, Versace.
he doesn't want to take the pledge. He wants to defy, JT Dunn in the unit.
VSW, and
I'm
you'll be,
sorry, I've taken the pledge. I have to side. That is our new, the new owner of Chaotic Wrestling.
and I
They're
can't
putting on a show in our hometown. We got to show respect where respect is due.
love
And
Doug a little too much, my friend.
well, that's what I'm saying. Love Doug don't want to play, so I mean, I don't know if I can love Doug anymore. Um, I don't know. It's a tough call, but
Absolutely, but like I said, I can't take a chance on having my ticket refunded in my own hometown. I can't embarrass the VSW myself like that. So
no, especially because you got it for me for a Christmas gift. That would be terrible if I'd be like almost giving me something and then taking it back.
that's happened before, but you'd be able to get in, but it's just me. I can't be like that when I have people that want to come. You know,
Oh yeah, I mean we got people already now saying they want to show back up. Mike Panchu said to me he wants to be back in. He loved chaotic wrestling the first time,
couple
first indie
people who
show,
never
first
went to
indie
an
show.
indie show before, but obviously always watched WWE or used to watch W. They want to show up this time, and we'll get to some link tree stuff going. I'm pretty excited. I know we're getting off topic, but with Megan Bain, I know she was on Love Doug's radar, so we had to bring that up.
Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about chaotic after this anyway. So let's just keep going with this one. But yeah,
Yeah.
so you had the Megan Bain defeating Trisha Dora by the
You
referee's
know, a lot
decision.
of arm bars in this, a lot of shoulder block. These two women, it was worth the wait. They had a lot of great chemistry with each other.
Oh yeah, they did, and I hope we see them again. I hope we see more of it. I hope we
And
need to see more
Bane's
of it.
kind of like the Undertaker in a way. Like she's very tall, she's got the charisma, and she uses a tombstone like him.
She does, yes. And, I love Trisha Dora too, though. She's a
Trisha Dora is awesome.
The last time we saw her was wrestling on Darius Carter down in
That was a phenomenal
that
match
was a
where
great matchup.
she was great technical, the Afro punk they call her, and she is a anything but that because she was trying to get the moves, and Darius Carter was trying to act his inner James or Steve Urkel running away. Big. It was so funny. He's talented too. Don't get me wrong, but
Oh, it was a great matchup though. It was a tremendous matchup they wrestled. Um, but this, like I said, Tristan Dore is a great wrestler, and like I said, hope to see us again. Speaking of great wrestlers and great people, the next match is somebody that I really really enjoy watching is Vince, and he's a sick fucking bastard. If you watch him, I saw him wrestle at XPW when they came back. He's really sick. He's really twisted. He's really distorted. He's almost like a Bray Wyatt kind of like twisted character. He defeated Dan Barry.
just before his friend Dutch turned on him, well, we got started one of these trends for our YouTube.
Yep, and Vincent, like I said, is that, and Dan Barry, believe it or not, is a hardcore wrestler. He fights in hardcore promotions. He's fought in hardcore matches, death matches,
He
and
wears
other
Hawaiian
crazy
shirts
matches.
wherever
You
he
wouldn't think
goes.
so. You might not think so, but he is.
Very plain guy, but he has a really great move set with a bunch of super kicks and everything else. But Vincent has those dreadlocks similar to Bray Wyatt or the Fiend. He's kind of like the original Bray Wyatt when he first debuted on the main roster.
Oh yes, from the like bio. You should have saw him in GCW. Not GCW. Sorry, XPW. Like he was sick and twisted, and every time he would hurt his opponent, they fought in a weapons match, and but they did a really good job doing it, considering that it was freaking New York and the laws of wrestling in New York are ter- terrible.
You would tell me that's awful driving all that way and they stop a match because of bleeding.
Yeah, they
Come
don't
on.
even stop it. The commission stops it right in the middle of the show. They stop the match because of bleeding. Yeah, no good. But Vincent defeated Dan Barry and took home the victory here. Another great, matchup. If you can get back on the, and watch it, I would watch definitely this one. Another great matchup came up next. You had Willie Nightingale going up against Becca, who's been dominating,
Because
pro
this
wrestling.
match was, I was originally really looking forward to this match when Will Nightingale was supposed to face Impact DLC champion Jordy Ann Grace, but she got, it's a shame for her getting all the way. Her husband Jonathan Grisham was here. He wrestled later in the night. As she arrived, and then she started to feel sick when she arrived.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's just what's kind of is going
And
on
Becca and
here.
Willow Nightingale have had the huge rivalry all the course season 3 with Alec Price and everything else. And
Yeah,
They've
but
been
even
bowling
you
well a
remember
little bit.
Alec? Didn't Alec Price wrestle her in one of the shows we went to?
Yes, yes, he did.
So I mean, you had this all around. It's great though. It was a great matchup. It was fun. Becker was one of my favorites on the scene. Alec Price a favorite. Will is a favorite. Becca did take the victory, and in the next matchup, Alec Price brings home the goal. Well, not the goal, but the victory against Ryan Gallione. So they both were, take home the victory. The hooligans at, heavy lies the crown.
And they're being very evaluated. You can say Becca got overshadowed as breakout star of the year in many promotions. Price got superstar of the year one, but they both really breaked out at the same time. Well, Price had a little bit more experience than Becca did, but they both really took off during this pandemic. I feel like.
Oh yeah, they did. They most certainly did. They were both would have potentially still, they would have done it fine, but they could have easily not gone anywhere. They both made it during a time that was very hard to make it in wrestling. And that was in the pandemic without any fans. And these kids did it. Um, Becoming fan favorites and hated it at the same time. A lot of people love the Scrungy Squad and Becca. A lot of people hate her. A lot of people hated Alec Price. He got
A lot of
bullied.
them, he has this like, even though he's not old school, he has this old school Boston accent vibe, which people like him or hate him for.
But now he has hit, he has hit the level of wrestling that, where guess what? Fans are cheering for him regardless of his stance and what he is and how he wrestles. So it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, sometimes if the fans want you, they want you, and that's it. That's it. And that's kind of like with Alec Price, how it is. And same thing with Becca. The next up, you had another tag team matchup with
He
Tracy Williams and Willie Uter, the Hot Wheels.
versus Ring of Honor's the foundation of Jonathan Gresham and Rhett Titus.
Now, Jonathan Gresham, he was the first IWTV champion, was he not?
Correct.
We saw him wrestle at the IWTV 500. Gave a great matchup. Tremendous superstar, I have to say. Really. And this was a great match. I'm really liking to see what Wheeler Yuta's kind of doing. He's no longer IWGP champion. He's no longer with that little posse he had there. He's kind of with the Hot Wheels. He's on another one that's made to AEW Dark. Doing his thing there. So he's another top person to kind of look out for in pro wrestling. What's your take on you?
What's my take on Wheeler Yuta, you said?
Yeah.
Had a great year. He started off chasing the IWTV championship. We saw him wrestle Trish Adora in a very technical match, but made her tap out in the Woo tap. But he wrestled in two of my favorite matches of the year when he faced Lee Moriarty at the second Beyond show in an hour-long match, which was amazing to see him capture the IWTV championship. And we also saw him in the Red Sauna bloodbath between Red Death Daniel Garcia. When both men looked like they were going to pass out, they wrestled for over an hour in a 100-degree sauna in the H2O Center, which he retained.
Oh yeah.
And he's also made some best friends in AEW.
Sure has. Anybody will tell you Yuta's one of the best. Ask
Absolutely,
ask
but
ask ask Sidney Bacabella about how good Yuta is.
Of
You
course.
know, so the Hot Wheels taking the victory on that one, and then you had Bring Your Own Weapons match. Well, fans bring the weapons death match.
They do the last minutes of 2021. They introduce the match, then they count down to Happy New Year, and the match starts at like midnight where Masha bought her a sickle. Both these women were wearing white attire to the ring.
Crazy blood. But you had Masha
Exactly.
Slambish and Kimberly going at it.
And don't forget, second Beyond Show, we saw this match, and it's one of the first shorts to take off when Masha slammed Kimberly. Kimberly's a plant based wrestler. She's been on Impact a lot. And Masha's an up and rising star in the whole wrestling scene.
Yes. Yes, she is.
There was road signs there. There was wrong way signs. There was a kendo sticks in this, baseball bats, you name it, Legos.
Kind of crazy to think about, these girls doing this at midnight to kick off the new year.
Oh, I know it.
You know, um, I have to say, I commend them. Commend them.
Absolutely. They hit a guitar over Masha.
I always find that funny when they use guitars.
It is a miracle that
Ever
after
since
this
I was
match,
a kid, and they brought Tiny Tim on and bashed the ukulele over his head, Jerry the King Lawler. I just always find it funny. Uh, I'm a little sick like that, but you know, I have to say,
it
this
was
was one
Masha
hell
using the
of a
murderer's
beyond
row
the
on
this
Kimberly to
this
not
was a
only win and close out the Heavy Lies the Crown event, but she also got awarded by Sam LaTurner the breakout star of 2021.
oh wow, that's wonderful. And Sam's another one, her and Rich are the voices in New England, really. And I love them
Sam's
both.
more
I love them
Northeast, but
both. They're both great. I told Sam today we're gonna try our best to get her more subs on Twitter. We're gonna do our best to get more people to tune in. We'll do our best to get more people to listen and follow her. We can do that. We can do anything we want on our YouTube. We can
absolutely,
do
Sam's
everything to
awesome.
help her. Anything to
You
help the
got that
professional
right.
wrestlers. That's why we started this. Is to get ears and eyes on the indie wrestling scene. So if you're in it, you're gonna get noticed.
Absolutely, and the views are really taking off, and people got to embrace it sooner or rather. Versace for events like Beyond, Limitless, Chaotic. I don't mind paying tickets for, but we're at the point where if you want the VSW to come to a non-big promotion, you're gonna have to do something for us.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Gas costs, and time, money, pressure, everything.
Exactly.
It's not free. It's just not. But Beyond did a great job with this show and this event and this whole night. I mean, I think they just really did. And then, like I said, they kicked off their new show. I'm gonna quickly go through the results of that because we still got to do the limitless part of it. Um, and this is Wrestling Open. It was their soft opening. It will be at the White
Let's just
Eagle.
read off the results and then talk about the whole Wrestle Open
Well,
because
that's
we
what I was
want
gonna
to.
do. Yeah, I mean, you had Mortar defeating Devantes with Alex Cipher. You had VSK defeating Billy Tipton. 50 Cal defeating King Crab. Eel O'Neill defeating Gail Barkay. Kennedy Copeland defeating Brooke Valentine. Armani Chaos defeating Jared Diaz. Love Doug defeating Travis Huckabee, which is a shock. Jordan Blade defeating Jody Threat. Elijah Six defeating Sammy Diaz. A four-way of Aaron Rourke defeating Ava Everett, Bobby Orlando, and CPA. Interesting. You had Alex Price defeating Ichiban. And Faith in Nothing, Ricky Shane Page and Vincent Nothing defeating the Miracle Generation, Dustin Waller and Kylan King. You had a bunch of great matches here, tons of great talent. Some we know, some we don't know. Some we've watched in other promotions shine. Some we've watched not do much. Some we've watched lose. Like I said, I'm really surprised Love Tug beat Travis Huckabee. I
The
figured,
funny part is he was trying to kiss Travis Huckabee, get a New Year's kiss where he failed to get the night before, and Travis Huckabee just tried to knock him out, and Love Dog still prevailed.
if Love Dug really wants the kiss, he's got to fight. He's got to face the workhorseman. They're giving smooches out all the time when they fight MSP. Maybe he needs to get in on that. But I'm glad I got to see people like Mordor, Love Dug, Armani, Alec, Jody
Gail
Threat,
Barkley too.
all these people. Yeah, Eel, you know, King
I think
Crab,
what
all these
Wrestle
people
Open,
getting in on this, getting in on
Shannon
Beyond.
Thomas. I think Wrestle Open's going to be guys that are in a good wrestling school. He wants to feature a Connecticut school, obviously New England Wrestling Academy, probably the dojo. I think he wants regular guys and low to mid tier guys that are getting really good at their classes and showcase them.
No, and that's what I think. Was the whole thing of Beyond. I mean, you got to remember, like I said, we talked to Drew. He was opening the school. He said, you come to the school, you learn how to wrestle, whatever. You'll work Uncharted Territory 3 and then go from there. And, that's pretty much, I think, what we've seen. We've seen a lot of the people maybe go to this Beyond School or try to get onto it. We've seen them work the shows. We've seen them set up the chair, seen them take it down, seen them be in the crowd, seen them help. And now we're seeing them wrestle.
Oh, yeah.
We used to go to Beyond and watch Beyond as Love Dug was watching Beyond. Now we're watching Love Dug at Beyond. See what I'm saying?
Love Doug helps out
Armani,
behind the scenes too.
Armani Chaos. It's kind of like what you see at Limitless. You saw him, um, back in the doing the chair stuff. Now you'll see him probably wrestle.
Same as Mordor. I think since he ditched his real name and became more of like a charisma and a new like gimmick and wrestling style, gotten really better. I think he's gonna really shine this year wherever he goes.
Oh yeah, he
We'll
will.
talk about chaotic another time, but I really love if he got the New England title around his waist at our hometown.
It could happen. I saw that being announced today. I'm very excited for that. He knows I have my support. If Sydney's listening, we gotta listen to it. I love Mordo. I love Max. I love all these guys. These people have my support 150%.
Absolutely, and like I said about Love Dog, man, like he's really getting us into trouble, Versace. He's
He
almost
is.
getting me into trouble with the new boss.
Yeah, you gotta be careful because, you gotta be very careful about that.
I
Just,
know because he's funny.
I know he's funny, but just watch your back, with the unit. I hate for you to run into trouble with AC, baby.
I'll be saying, and you could have the man to steal pour cream cheese in my face, Versace.
Exactly. Not to mention what JT Dunn would get to you if he was on your bad side. So, I mean, and he was one person we didn't see here at Wrestival, huh?
Nope.
But that's okay. We are gonna see him run a show in our hometown. We are excited for that. As Chaotic does come, we will talk more about that probably tomorrow night. I'm thinking, or maybe later in the week. We'll do that one. I
Once
want to
we
get to it
know,
earlier than normal, but I want to get to it not right back to back with all of this.
yeah, I
Um,
want to talk about chaotic no later than next Tuesday.
yeah, and that's gonna bring us to Limitless coming down to Worcester, Massachusetts to put on the show. And
This match started off with Anthony Green and Becca opening the show. Speaking of our hometown, they actually wrestled each other for the Panoptic title in our hometown, Versace, in
they
a
did.
really great match.
If you remember, Anthony Green had won the Battle Royal, and um, and then he faced Becca later that night.
Oh, I know it. Yeah, this was a really great back and forth match. A lot of rope work in this match. It was Becca getting the moonsault to Anthony Green to seal. That was one of the. I thought it was going to be one of the best matches of the night, which was a pretty damn good match. A great match to open the show, Versace. Back and forth. They got the technical work going. They even fought using on the turnbuckle up, but it was the leader of the Scrunchy Squad getting the victory to start off the new year.
Yep, and Becca beat him again, and Becca's becoming a star, a more and more and more and more. You're not going to see her too much more on the indie scene. I have a feeling this might be her year, totally on TV. Who knows? But she did take the big win over AG, who in Limitless is the former two-time champion.
What a great way for Becca. A great weekend for her. It was a very good match. I thought it was going to be match of the night, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
Let's not talk about speaking of the. I just want to because speaking of the guy we were talking about, Love Doug.
Okay.
He's got to
Dude.
face one of his former loves.
One of his former exes.
Yeah,
With her new
right.
stable this time of Art, with Ricky Smokes and Aaron Rourke. But he found some new love, as you know. One half of Waves and Curls was tested positive with COVID, so it was supposed to be Love and Waves and Curls, but he got a hell of a replacement. He's got the main event as his replacement.
That is a great replacement. The main event is a great tag team, and you know, normally we've seen them with the Ninja, but
Yes, with Nolo Catino.
in this one we do see a little bit of a different.
There were a lot of acrobatics in this match too. A lot of using the ropes for the Limitless. Like you had Jay Lyon eat steak on Ava. You had him jump from the middle of the ring onto Ava. Everett and Ricky Smokes. But here's how they got them. It turned into a 3-on-2 match when Aaron Rourke locked threw Love Dug out of the White Eagle and locked him out.
Really,
Yeah,
that's kind of insane if you think about it. And
poor guy can't catch a break, Kenny.
no, he really can't love a Doug.
And then Ricky Smokes steals the victory for Art.
Well, Art is an up and coming trios. Say what you want about them. They're an up and coming trios.
Absolutely. The next match of the night was another we thought was going to be a trios match or a 3-on-2. But at the end of the night, it was just a tag team match. You had one of our, I don't know if we should say favorites, but one of the talent that we can't keep away from. And was it the night of Van Vliet Alberection Versace? Supposedly he was supposed to be there. Randy Carver gave him the wrong address. As he says, or he could be making it up for attention. Who knows with Alba?
You never know. You never know with Alba. He dodges me on all social media now. Ever since
Yeah,
that
but I
Chad Epic
got my
comment. Ever since the Chad Epic comment.
I
He's
know,
been
but before we get to that match, we have one match. So originally, this match was supposed to be Jody Threat versus Ashley Fox, but she tested positive for COVID, I believe. So it was going to be Davey Ann versus Jody Threat, which I was excited to see. But Davey got injured, and Jody Threat was getting upset, saying that she was on a losing streak 10 and she was really dying for an opponent. And coming out from the entrance where the fans come up in the White Eagle, you have Mortar attacking Jody Threat from behind. And they
That's
talk
crazy.
about him
That's
being part
crazy.
of Slaughterhouse, no Max Smashmaster. But they say Sydney takes off the holidays for Sachi. I didn't know if you knew that.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's Sidney Bacabella. I mean, he's got like what 8 kids at home. He's got to feed and probably has to, he's got a bunch of families got to do. That's Sidney Bacabella. Um, I wouldn't work holidays either.
And he
And if he
tries
charge,
not to work,
he probably charges 3 to 4 times the amount. Drew's probably like,
especially
no,
if his Bears are playing a big game.
you got that issue too, the football. But Jody with maybe without without Bacabella on his corner, he didn't do so well with Jody Threat taking the victory. But we've seen a
Came
lot of
very,
greatness.
very close, though.
We've seen a lot of greatness out of Mordor, not just in the tag team division, but singly too in chaotic wrestling and other promotions as well. So Mordor is a
Mhm.
name you need to look out for this year. He is one of our favorites here at the VSW podcast, and he's going to be making a big impact, in my opinion. Like you said, since his new gimmick change. Speaking of big impacts, Ace Romero, he came.
Facing
I mean,
one
there was no
Anthony
unit, but
Henry of the Workhorsemen. And what
with
doesn't make sense is he turned on his hometown, getting really, really despised. But the people in White Eagle, they had some Limitless faithful from Maine there, but they were all happy to see AC because he never comes to the White Eagle.
he hasn't come to the White Eagle. He hasn't come to Maine, and there was no unit.
And it's big boy fucking season, as Rich said it.
It is big boy fucking season. He's freaking right.
But it was the powerhouse of AC versus the aerial moves of Anthony Henry. But I got some tape of it as he tried to pick AC up. What is he thinking? And he got squashed by AC. AC was able to use his pile driver power bomb for the victory, though, as the crowd got all cheery and happy. And after the match, he tried to shake Anthony Henry, but Anthony Henry flipped him off. Maybe it's another Stone Cold and Bret Hart moment.
Might be.
Maybe it's like a house show in Limitless, it feels like.
Kind of.
And let's talk about the next matches. We'll talk about our boys prestigious. No main attraction. You had Shannon Thomas and BRG versus MSP, a Danger Kid and Aiden Agro.
And this is kind of a grudge match. We saw what they did to them in the trios match, kind of the changing point for MSP when they took that loss. They kind of redeemed themselves here by taking the victory, but again, no Mac, no John. Is it really that prestigious without them two? Seems
They're
to
more
be not
prestiged.
really. Seems to be not really. I'm not sure. I'm a big BIG and Channing fan though. These
Me too,
guys,
even though BRG doesn't like me too much.
he will in time. You gotta give him some
Uh,
time. Uh,
Absolutely, but
but you
he
know
has
what I'm
got his
saying.
inner.
We support these guys. We like these guys. We think they're good wrestlers. So
Yeah,
you
and I
know,
saw John Albert tease that he was coming.
and
He
don't
had his
forget, we saw Big. Well, we in the last show we saw Big and Mac Daniels without no Channing Thomas lose to Waves and Curls. So I mean, they can't seem to do so good without John Alba. That
Well,
seems to be the
when
issue
all
is the
four of
John
them are
Alba
there,
issue.
besides that loss to Team Davy, take away that anniversary match, they're unstoppable together.
Well, yeah. Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. There's gonna be a lot to unfold this year. It's gonna be maybe the year of prestigious. We got to see. When I asked John Alba when he was gonna come back, he said when he damn well feels like it.
Hmm.
So. We will see. Next match we saw was on two hard hitters, Rip Bison and
Well, I
Masha
hate to say
Slamovich.
it. This is a very, very understandable. They talk about schedule. Kennedy Copeland, Alec Price, Becca, Masha Slamovich. They wrestled over like 3 or 4 times this weekend, and it affected the match because ended way earlier than anyone thought. So I was so excited for this match, but I knew to tamper my expectations when Masha was wrestled the hardcore main event less than 24 hours. She also wrestled in the H2O against Mickey Knuckles. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah, you're right. It was only like about a 7 minute match, 6 minutes, 55-second matchup. So definitely a shorter match than what you would expect.
They tried to get some offense, but Masha was still outspeed the Ripper with all those matches. And imagine how great this match was if it was in Yarmouth or Harmon,
Oh, I know. If it had just been a solo match, it might have been something
but
totally.
not when Masha's wrestled 2 hardcore matches and a bunch of other matches.
Yeah, that is a lot.
And Rip
It's a lot for
accidentally stole
anybody.
the match when he sat on Masha, and the ref counted the pin.
It's well, yeah, and but that's a big victory for Rip.
As he needs
Rip
momentum.
is Rip's doing some pretty big things. I have to say, it's been 21. Kind of has been Rip's year to break out.
Absolutely. He ran his own promotion too and actually showed up in it.
Yeah, he did. Unlike some others we know, but that's neither the place for here nor there.
Yeah. Not mentioning names.
No, please don't.
Nope.
But you know, again, Limitless coming and the fans getting to see them. I think is a pretty big deal because they don't. A lot of people don't know about Limitless. We know people that don't even go to Limitless that are good wrestling fans. So I mean, this is
Actually,
great,
not a
and
bad
and they had
drive.
a great main event of the evening, and that was
It was a 5-star match, and it's easily an early match of the year candidate for the end of this year.
it could
We'll
be,
talk about
it could be, and that was with Alec Price versus JD Drake for the Limitless World Title. The first time JD Drake gets the challenge because he couldn't face Garcia anymore, but he could face
Alec Price.
Alec Price.
This was a really, really good match. The aerial moveset. People tend to forget JD Drake's a hoss fight man, but he's a lot more than a powerhouse. He's very athletic for his size. Alec Price, there was a lot of rollouts, a lot of moonsaults, but it was the prize OG kicking his prize OG buster kicks, not once, but twice for the victory over JT Drake. And we all thought Drake was going to capture the title from Price a few times.
Well, I mean, but Alec Price is the champ for a reason, and
He has a big match. Their next show is the main event's him and AG versus the unit and AC Romero and JT Dunn.
it's gonna be big. It's gonna be interesting, and it's gonna be very telling because well, AG could go either way. But overall, what would you say? I mean, let's just say Limitless was a great show. Restival, a great event? Yes. We have to agree. Restival was a success. I mean, look at all this great wrestling that took place in what, 3 days, 2 days?
3 days.
You know,
But I feel like
congratulations
the
again.
timing of it kept it from being an all time great talked about classic.
It did, but congratulations again and kudos to Drew Cordero because he did do what he wanted to do. He brought all the promotions kind of together there. the ones that he wanted. And he put on a great show, got fans involved, got everybody involved. Like I said, had it not been during COVID issues, and I probably would have been able to go maybe with family in the holidays. It was also very hard. Had it been the summertime, I would have been there throughout the whole thing, probably camping out.
Dude, it had it been the summertime, we probably would have stayed at Worcester.
Yeah, I probably would have camped out.
There's all that great wrestling. I wish we were there, but I got almost exposed, as I told you plenty of times. You went to, so and I wasn't under 70%, but I only had like a headache and I was tired from working a lot. It wasn't COVID, just being understaffed in the front lines. You know what I mean, Versace?
No, I get it. I get it.
Like I said, I know I'm repeating myself. It was just beyond just limitless. I would have gone, but
No,
I
of
didn't want to
course.
risk it.
Of course, there was a lot of shows.
Yeah.
But what a time, you know. Whether you watch it at home, you went to some of it, you went to all of it, whatever you decided to do, it was a hell of a time.
It's something I want to see continue, but I know people may disagree with me there, but I really don't want to see it. Maybe next year on New Year's, but as long as COVID's still a thing, I'd rather it just be in the spring, especially summertime on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because you could have gotten more wrestlers. Don't forget, GCW had a few things too. And it's hard to break out for Drew because summer there isn't as much going on. You also had the annual college bowl games that people wouldn't come out if their alma mater was playing.
No, you do. You're right. Okay, you're right. But
In the NHL Winter Classic, you also have GCW having a few shows too.
GCW had a show, yes. But I feel like either GCW, I mean, either you're a crazy ass fan like myself that might go out there to drive. I find very little people flying out to Jersey to the boardwalk to watch GCW. I just don't know. I don't see. I thought a lot more people would be flying out, driving out there, but I guess I'm the one that drives like 10 hours for this stuff.
You and the wrestlers.
Oh yeah, the Russells are usually there too, but you know, it amazes me though, in a way, what it does amaze me though how far we did travel in 21. Thinking back, how many promotions we went to, how far we did go, and where we went. But this year I don't know what's gonna take us. Restrictions are gonna be heavy, might not be. We gotta Safety's always an issue, and I don't know where we're gonna expand to and what. And there's a bunch of new promotions I want to check that are just locally, but things like this, shows like Wrestival, it brings the talent to us, and we don't have to travel as far. And next time I definitely will capitalize more on it when we can try to. It was, like I said, though, a success in my opinion. And again, like, congratulations to Drew. He did a great job putting it together. It didn't have it did he pulled it through.
He definitely did, especially in the circumstances where people had to pull out and so many wrestlers were willing to wrestle more than 3 times, you know?
Oh yeah.
It's a very great time. I wish I got to watch more of it, but
No, but the beauty of it is you can go back and do such things. You can. And what a way to kick off the new year. And for us, our first show going into the new year will be going to Chaotic in Watertown, Massachusetts. I am
woohoo!
pumped. I am pumped. I am pumped. I am pumped.
Wolf is amped.
Um, you know, I was actually
With
in
new
Waltham. I was
ownership,
actually
too.
in Waltham today near the gas station, and I was driving by and I saw signs saying chaotic, 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 chaotic. I loved it. I was very excited, very happy.
Nice.
It's going to be a good show. It's not far for us. We can keep it kind of safe. The only thing that makes me kind of nervous is they did say today that they closed all the Watertown public schools
Ooh,
because of the COVID. That makes me a little bit nervous, but then again, not really because at the same point, I feel like while there was some new people at Chaotic in Watertown, they had a lot of their regular fan base as well, and that
it was
regular
more of
fan,
their regular fan base than it was Watertown people, to be honest.
what is it?
It was a lot more of their regular fan base than it was typical Watertown people.
Yeah, and maybe that will change now because, like we said, it was Halloween time and it was a little difficult, but um, there was all that, and I'm gonna say, I think a lot of the regular fan base comes out for that.
Especially with how good Chaotic, they keep getting better and better and better each show.
So much better. So much better. So,
It was Wrestival
it's gonna
was
be interesting to see what happens. As the year progresses. But we have a lot to look forward to between that, Limitless, and all of that beyond wrestling, wrestling open, and all the other great promotions that New England has to offer. But we're just about out of time here tonight, as we ran about 2 hours disabled.
that's
Imagine,
amazing.
imagine that. But it was Wrestival. There was a lot of events, a lot of wrestling to get through. You could hear my other recap I did earlier today. I was actually did a movie recap, and we're gonna actually have you come in on the next one and do start to do a video a week, something maybe that's trending on Netflix. Kind of see what's trending on the 1 through 10s. We'll pick it together, kind of watch it, and then we'll discuss and talk about it like I did today with Don't Look Up. That's something new we're going to be doing on the VSW podcast. Plus,
We definitely,
we'll
if we're gonna go Netflix, we gotta talk Stranger Things this year.
we will get into Stranger Things when that takes its shape and form when that comes back, and that'll be a lot of fun. And we'll let you recap the earlier seasons as you were a big fan of that.
A huge ass fan, man.
So very excited, very excited. A lot of great stuff. So with that, everybody, though, thank you for listening. Thank you,
Thank you.
and happy New Year's from the VSW. We will see you all very soon. Like I said, chaotic preview coming up soon.
Absolutely.
Sounds good to me. To say, well, everybody have a good night. Versace Stoner out.
This